Well, welcome back. If you watched the initial spreadsheet video, you uh, now know how to make basic entries in the spreadsheet, and I think this is going to be our first on a glaze adjustment, and it's one that we've done. So the backstory to this is we needed a nice mat that was very clear, that would work well over underglazes, and it would fit our clay body. So there's the actual wear. And so we created this. And this worked really well. We refined it to work well with no crazing over our porcelain. And that's a small picture, and there's a nice close-up of what this thing really looks like. And so it turned out to be an excellent glaze, and everybody liked it. So once that happened, we said, well, maybe we could make it a studio standard for a mat, and which then caused us to have to vote on the level of mattness. So this video is about the corrections for that, or to make it glossier. So everybody voted on a certain look, and that's the one we stuck with. Now, a good thing about Stull is if you move from left to right on the chart, you go from matte to glossy, which simply means if you look at the bottom of it, we add more silica. And so this upcoming video will show you how we did that and how easy it is. And so it's a simple glaze. I don't want to say fix, I'll say adjustment to taste. So quick video on how you do that. Super simple. And like I say, this is one of the very first ones we'll do, and we'll do some others as we go. So stand by for the video. Alright, here we go. So here's Marsha's recipe. Someday we'll go through it, but let's say I entered it new. Timestamp column 6, put in Marsha's mat version 1, and the recipe ended up to be 40 in Nefsi and 24 in Gersley and 42.5 in EPK and 18.5 in Telk. Will last tonight 11, and finally 3 in flint or silica. So that's the original recipe. We already like it. It looks like that. That's the tested recipe, the base clear glaze. So we like it, and if we look at Stull, we notice the dot is here, and we know a rule about Stull that if we want to go from matte to glossy, we just simply add more silica till it moves towards this highest gloss line. So to make everybody happy in the studio, we decide to just simply do progression on the silica, knowing that if we just increase the silica, that dot's going to move. And so we do it without the spreadsheet, where we add 2 grams to 100 grams of mixed glaze. So I'm going to put in these numbers for you, and keep an eye on the red down on the right. So now version 2 goes to 5.86. That's version 2, and this dot moves a little bit to the right towards glossier. And for our next progression, we add another 2 grams, or 4 grams total per 100, and this goes to 8.71. And now this is version 3, and our dot moves over some more. And I think we go to 6 grams per 100, which turns out to be 11.57 silica. And this is our 4th recipe. And now our dot is out of the semi-matte zone on the map here and still moving, and our silica to alumina ratio is ever so slowly climbing. So we want this to be a matte for the studio, so we say let's just add 20 per 100 and confirm that this is going to go glossy, because we think we've got it in our other progressions. And now if you look at our dot, it's nearly on the high gloss line. It has a ratio closer to 7 to 1. So it should be glossy. So as long as Stull is true and the chemistry is true and we fire it correctly, life is good. So how does that look in pictures? Let's take a look at the base 0. So here's the silky matte. The picture's a little deceiving in that it looks a little glossier than it is. And this is the base glaze, and there's where the red dot is. So we go to our +2 rendition. And this dot has moved ever so slightly. The silica to alumina ratio has gone up. And if you look at the sample, it's starting to get smoother and glossier. 0.4 moves it even farther. So now the dot is almost out of the semi-matte on our little map here. The silica and alumina is up to 5.06 to 1. And it's starting to get pearlescent and more glossy. So let's see, we got a couple more. Oops. We have 6, which we tested, and now our dot has moved considerably, and we're at 5.25 to 1. And if you look at the sample, it's noticeably more glossy and smooth. And this ended up to be the favorite recipe that they liked, +6. So then, just to verify our Stull works, we did do 20 per 100, and it's an obvious move and almost 7 to 1 or near 7 to 1. And the test tile shows that it's a full gloss. So, easy adjustment if you know a little bit about Stull. And if this glaze behaves chemically as it should, then as we move this dot from semi-matte to high gloss, it should go glossier. So they decided on +6, and then we just need to do some further testing to make it melt a little earlier and still stay stable a little later, because these could fire as low as, say, count of 4.5. So for a studio glaze, we want it to be dependable for folks to just dip their stuff. And then we continue to improve this so it works well over underglazes, which is a whole nother issue. But here's a simple solution and how you can use Stull and the spreadsheet to move yourself along. And I should have changed this to, I think this is our 6th version. Normally I would do those in each tab and then copy the previous one. So if you've watched the how to use the spreadsheet, you'll understand that I'd enter the base glaze, then move the tab 2, 3, and 4, and just copy each one beforehand and make my changes as I go. So that's it. That's a simple adjustment on a glaze, and it does use Stull to help you visualize what's going on. And I think that's all I want to present here. Later on we'll do a few more simple adjustments. Alright, so that's it. We figured out that when we look at the Stull chart, if we go from left to right with our little dot, we go from matte towards gloss, and then all the way to underfired. So good thing to visualize, good thing to know, and it allows you to do some pretty easy corrections, if you will. So that's it. Hopefully we do a couple more of these and some simple Stull principles, and you'll see that a lot of times you can use this sheet to solve some of your issues. So that's it for today, and see you in the next video.